if thou beest he. But oh, how fallen, how changed from him who in the happy realms of light, clothed with transcendent brightness, didst outshine myriads, though bright. If he, who mutual league, united thoughts and counsels, equal hope and hazard in the glorious enterprise, joined with me once, now misery hath joined in equal ruin. Into what pit thou seest from what height fallen, so much the stronger proved he with his thunder. Until then, who knew the force of those dire arms? Yet not for those, nor what the potent victor in his rage can else inflict, do I repent or change, though changed in outward luster. That fixed mind and high disdain from sense of injured merit, that with the mightiest raised me to contend, and to the fierce contention brought along innumerable force of spirits armed, that durst dislike his reign, and me preferring, his utmost power with adverse power opposed in dubious battle on the plains of heaven, and shook his throne. What though the field be lost? All is not lost. The unconquerable will and study of revenge, immortal hate and courage never to submit or yield, and what is else not to be overcome, that glory never shall his wrath or might extort from me. To bow and sue for grace with suppliant knee, and deify his power who, from the terror of this arm so late, doubted his empire, that were low indeed. That were an ignominy and shame beneath this downfall, since by fate the strength of gods and this imperial substance cannot fail, since through experience of this great event, in arms not worse, in foresight much advanced, we may with more successful hope resolve to wage by force or guile eternal war, irreconcilable to our grand foe, who now triumphs, and in the excess of joy, so reigning, holds the tyranny of heaven.
Fallen cherub, to be weak is miserable, doing or suffering. But of this be sure, to do aught good never will be our task, but ever to do ill our sole delight, as being the contrary to his high will, whom we resist. If then his providence out of our evil seek to bring forth good, our labor must be to pervert that end, and out of good still to find means of evil, which ofttimes may succeed, so as perhaps shall grieve him, if I fail not, and disturb his inmost counsels from their destined aim. But see, the angry victor hath recalled his ministers of vengeance and pursuit back to the gates of heaven. The sulphurous hail shot after us in storm, o'erblown hath laid the fiery surge that from the precipice of heaven received us falling, and the thunder, winged with red lightning and impetuous rage, perhaps hath spent his shafts, and ceases now to bellow through the vast and boundless deep. Let us not slip the occasion, whether scorn or satiate fury yield it from our foe. Seest thou yon dreary plain, forlorn and wild, the seat of desolation, void of light, save what the glimmering of these livid flames casts pale and dreadful? Thither let us tend, from off the tossing of these fiery waves. There rest, if any rest can harbour there, and, reassembling our afflicted powers, consult how we may henceforth most offend our enemy, our own loss, how repair, how overcome this dire calamity, what reinforcement we may gain from hope, if not, what resolution from despair. Is this the region, this the soil, the clime that we must change for heaven, this mournful gloom for that celestial light? Be it so, since he who now is sovereign can dispose and bid what shall be right. Farthest from him is best, whom reason hath equalled, force hath made supreme above his equals. Farewell, happy fields where joy forever dwells. Hail, horrors! Hail, infernal world! And thou, profoundest hell, receive thy new possessor. one who brings a mind not to be changed by place or time. The mind is its own place, and in itself can make a heaven of hell, a hell of heaven. What matter where, if I be still the same? And what I should be, all but less than he whom thunder hath made greater. Here at least we shall be free. The Almighty hath not built here for his envy, will not drive us hence. Here we may reign secure, and in my choice to reign is worth ambition, though in hell. Better to reign in hell than serve in heaven. But wherefore let we then our faithful friends, the associates and co-partners of our loss, lie thus astonished on the oblivious pool, and call them not to share with us their part in this unhappy mansion, or once more with rallied arms to try what may be yet regained in heaven, or what more lost in hell.
Princes, potentates, warriors, the flower of heaven once yours, now lost! If such astonishment as this can seize eternal spirits, or have ye chosen this place after the toil of battle to repose your wearied virtue, for the ease you find to slumber here as in the vales of heaven? Or in this abject posture have ye sworn to adore the conqueror, who now beholds cherub and seraph rolling in the flood, with scattered arms and ensigns, till anon his swift pursuers from heaven gates discern the advantage, and descending tread us down, thus drooping, or with linked thunderbolts transfix us to the bottom of this gulf? Awake, arise, or be forever fallen.
O myriads of immortal spirits, O powers matchless but with the Almighty. And that strife was not inglorious, though the event was dire, as this place testifies, and this dire change hateful to utter. But what power of mind, foreseeing or presaging from the depth of knowledge past or present, could have feared how such united force of gods, how such as stood like these could ever know repulse? For who can yet believe, though after loss, that all these puissant legions whose exile have emptied heaven shall fail to reascend, self-raised, and repossess their native seat? For me be witness all the host of heaven, if counsels different or danger shunned by me hath lost our hopes. But he who reigns monarch in heaven, till then, as one secure, sat on his throne, upheld by old repute, consent, or custom, and his regal state put forth at full, but still his strength concealed, which tempted our attempt and wrought our fall. Henceforth his might we know, and know our own, so as not either to provoke or dread new war provoked. Our better part remains to work in close design by fraud or guile, what force effected not. That he no less at length from us may find, who overcomes by force hath overcome but half his foe. Space may produce new worlds, whereof so right there went a fame in heaven that he ere long intended to create, and therein plant a generation whom his choice regard should favor equal to the sons of heaven. Thither, if but to pry, shall be perhaps our first eruption. Thither or elsewhere, for this infernal pit shall never hold celestial spirits in bondage, nor the abyss long under darkness cover. But these thoughts full counsel must mature. Peace is despaired, for who can think submission? War, then, war open or understood, must be resolved. Powers and dominions, deities of heaven, for since no deep within her gulf can hold immortal vigor, though oppressed and fallen, I give not heaven for lost. From this descent, celestial virtues rising will appear more glorious and more dread than from no fall, and trust themselves to fear no second fate. Me, though,
Just right and the fixed laws of heaven did first create your leader. Next, free choice, with what besides in council or in fight hath been achieved of merit. Yet this loss, thus far at least recovered, hath much more established in a safe, unenvied throne, yielded with full consent. Where there is no good for which to strive, no strife can grow up there from faction. For none, sure, will claim in hell precedence, none whose portion is so small of present pain that with ambitious mind will covet more. With this advantage, then, to union and firm faith and firm accord, more than can be in heaven, we now return to claim our just inheritance of old. Surer to prosper than prosperity could have assured us, and by what best way, whether of open war or covert guile, we now debate. Who can advise may speak. O progeny of heaven, imperial thrones, with reason hath deep silence and demur seized us, though undismayed. Long is the way and hard that out of hell leads up to light. Our prison strong, this huge convex of fire, outrageous to devour, immures us round ninefold, and gates of burning adamant barred over us prohibit all egress. These past, if any pass, the void profound of unessential night receives him next, wide gaping, and with utter loss of being threatens him, plunged in that abortive gulf. If thence escape into whatever world or unknown region, what remains him less than unknown dangers, and as hard escape? But I should ill become this throne, O peers, and this imperial sovereignty, adorned with splendor, armed with power, if aught proposed and judged of public moment in the shape of difficulty or danger could deter me from attempting. Wherefore do I assume these royalties and not refuse to reign? Refusing to accept as great a share of hazard as of honor, due alike to him who reigns, and so much to him due of hazard more, as he above the rest high-honored sits. Go therefore, mighty powers, terror of heaven though fallen, while I abroad through all the coasts of dark destruction seek deliverance for us all. This enterprise none shall partake with me. Whence and what art thou, execrable shape, that darest, though grim and terrible, advance thy miscreated front athwart my way to yonder gates? Through them I mean to pass, that be assured, without leave asked of thee. Retire or taste thy folly, and learn by proof hell-born not to contend with spirits of heaven.
So strange thy outcry, and thy words so strange thou interposest, that my sudden hand prevented spares to tell thee yet by deeds what it intends, till first I know of thee what thing thou art, thus double-formed, and why in this infernal vale first met thou call'st me father, and that phantasm call'st my son. I know thee not, nor ever saw till now sight more detestable than him and thee. Dear daughter, since thou claimst me for thy sire, and my fair son here show'st me the dear pledge of dalliance had with thee in heaven, and joys then sweet, now sad to mention, through dire change befallen us, unforeseen, unthought of, no, I come no enemy, but to set free from out this dark and dismal house of pain, both him and thee, and all the heavenly host of spirits that in our just pretenses armed fell with us from on high. From them I go this uncouth errand, so, and one for all myself expose, with lonely steps to tread the unfounded deep, and through the void immense to search with wandering quest a place foretold should be, and by concurring signs ere now created vast and round, a place of bliss in the purlieus of heaven, and therein placed a race of upstart creatures to supply perhaps our vacant room, though more removed, lest heaven, surcharged with potent multitude, might hap to move new broils. Be this, or aught than this more secret, now designed, I haste to know. And this, once known, shall soon return, and bring ye to the place where thou and death shall dwell at ease. And up and down unseen wing silently the buxom air, embalmed with odours. There ye shall be fed and filled immeasurably. All things shall be your prey.
Ye powers and spirits of this nethermost abyss, chaos and ancient night, I come no spy, with purpose to explore or to disturb the secrets of your realm, but by constraint, wandering this darksome desert, as my way lies through your spacious empire up to light. Alone and without guide, half lost, I seek what readiest path leads where your gloomy bounds confine with heaven. Or if some other place from your dominion one, the ethereal king, possesses lately, thither to arrive I travel this profound. Direct my course. Directed, no mean recompense it brings to your behoof. If I that region lost, all usurpation thence expelled, reduced to her original darkness and your sway, which is my present journey, and once more erect the standard there of ancient night. Yours be the advantage all, mine the revenge.
Uriel, for thou of those 7 spirits that stand in sight of God's high throne, gloriously bright, the first art wont his great authentic will interpreter through highest heaven to bring, where all his sons thy embassy attend, and here art likeliest by supreme decree like honour to obtain, and as his eye to visit off this new creation round. Unspeakable desire to see and know all these his wondrous works, but chiefly man, his chief delight and favour, him for whom all these his works so wondrous he ordained, hath brought me from the choirs of cherubim, alone thus wandering. Brightest seraph, tell, in which of all these shining orbs hath man his fixed seat? Or fixed seat hath none, but all these shining orbs his choice to dwell, that I may find him, and with secret gaze or open admiration him behold, on whom the great Creator hath bestowed worlds, and on whom hath all these graces poured, that both in him and all things, as is meet, the universal Maker we may praise, who justly hath driven out his rebel foes to deepest hell, and to repair that loss, created this new happy race of men to serve him better. Wise are all his ways. O thou that with surpassing glory crowned look'st from thy sole dominion like the god of this new world, at whose sight all the stars hide their diminished heads, to thee I call, but with no friendly voice, and add thy name, O sun, to tell thee how I hate thy beams, that bring to my remembrance from what state I fell, how glorious once above thy sphere, till pride and worse ambition threw me down, warring in heaven against heaven's matchless king. Ah, wherefore? He deserved no such return from me, whom he created what I was in that bright eminence, and with his good upbraided none, nor was his service hard. What could be less than to afford him praise, the easiest recompense, and pay him thanks, how due? Yet all his good proved ill in me, and wrought but malice. Lifted up so high, I disdained subjection, and thought one step higher would set me highest, and in a moment quit the debt immense of endless gratitude. So burdensome, still paying, still to owe, forgetful what from him I still received, and understood not that a grateful mind by owing owes not, but still pays, at once indebted and discharged. What burden then? Oh, had his powerful destiny ordained me some inferior angel, I had stood then happy. No unbounded hope had raised ambition. Yet why not? Some other power as great might have aspired, and me, though mean, drawn to his part. But other powers as great fell not. but stand unshaken, from within or from without, to all temptations armed. Hadst thou the same free will and power to stand? Thou hadst. Whom hast thou then, or what to accuse, but heaven's free love dealt equally to all? Be then his love accursed, since love or hate to me alike it deals eternal woe. Nay, cursed be thou, since against his thy will chose freely what it now so justly rues. Me miserable, which way shall I fly, infinite wrath and infinite despair? Which way I fly is hell. Myself am hell, and in the lowest deep, a lower deep, still threatening to devour me, opens wide, to which the hell I suffer seems a heaven. Oh, then, at last relent. Is there no place left for repentance, none for pardon left, none left but by submission? And that word disdain forbids me, and my dread of shame among the spirits beneath whom I seduced with other promises and other vaunts than to submit, boasting I could subdue the omnipotent. Ay me, they little know how dearly I abide that boast so vain. Under what torments inwardly I groan, while they adore me on the throne of hell with diadem and scepter high advanced. The lower still I fall, only supreme in misery. Such joy ambition finds. But say I could repent, and could obtain by act of grace my former state. How soon would height recall high thoughts? How soon unsay what feigned submission swore? Ease would recant vows made in pain as violent and void, for never can true reconcilement grow where wounds of deadly hate have pierced so deep, which would but lead me to a worse relapse and heavier fall. So should I purchase dear short intermission, bought with double smart. This knows my punisher. Therefore, as far from granting he as I from begging peace. All hope excluded thus, behold, instead of us outcast, exiled, his new delight mankind created, and for him this world. So farewell hope, and with hope farewell fear, farewell remorse. All good to me is lost, evil be thou my good. By thee at least divided empire with heaven's king I hold. By thee and more than half perhaps will reign, as man ere long, and this new world shall know. O hell, what do mine eyes with grief behold? Into our room of bliss thus high advanced, creatures of other mould, earth-born perhaps, not spirits, yet to heavenly spirits bright, little inferior, whom my thoughts pursue with wonder, and could love. So lively shines in them divine resemblance, and such grace the hand that formed them on their shape hath poured. Ah, gentle pair, ye little think how nigh your change approaches, when all these delights will vanish and deliver ye to woe. More woe, the more your taste is now of joy. Happy, but for so happy, ill secured, long to continue. And this high seat, your heaven, ill fenced for heaven to keep out such a foe as now is entered. Yet no purposed foe to you, whom I could pity thus forlorn, though I unpitied. League with you I seek, and mutual amity so straight, so close, that I with you must dwell, or you with me, henceforth. My dwelling haply may not please, like this fair paradise your sense, yet such accept your Maker's work. He gave it me, which I as freely give. Hell shall enfold to entertain you to her widest gates, and send forth all her kings. There will be room, not like these narrow limits, to receive your numerous offspring. If no better place, thank him who puts me loath to this revenge on you who wrong me not, for him who wronged. And should I at your harmless innocence melt, as I do, yet public reason just, honor and empire with revenge enlarged by conquering this new world, compels me now to do what else, though damned, I should abhor. Sight hateful, sight tormenting, thus these two, imparadised in one another's arms, the happier Eden, shall enjoy their fill of bliss on bliss, while I to hell am thrust, where neither joy nor love, but fierce desire, among our other torments, not the least, still unfulfilled, with pain of longing pines. Yet let me not forget what I have gained from their own mouths. All is not theirs, it seems. One fatal tree there stands, of knowledge called, forbidden them to taste. Knowledge forbidden, suspicious, reasonless. Why should their lord envy them that? Can it be sin to know? Can it be death? And do they only stand by ignorance? Is that their happy state, the proof of their obedience and their faith? O fair foundation laid whereon to build their ruin! Hence I will excite their minds with more desire to know, and to reject envious commands, invented with design to keep them low, whom knowledge might exalt, equal with gods. Aspiring to be such, they taste and die. What likelier can ensue? But first, with narrow search, I must walk round this garden, and no corner leave unspied. A chance, but chance may lead where I may meet some wandering spirit of heaven by fountain side, or in thick shade retired, from him to draw what further would be learned. Live while ye may, yet happy pair, enjoy till I return short pleasures, for long woes are to succeed. Know ye not me? Ye knew me once, no mate for you, there sitting where ye durst not soar. Not to know me argues yourselves unknown, the lowest of your throng. Or if ye know, why ask ye, and superfluous begin your message, like to end as much in vain? Gabriel, thou hadst in heaven the esteem of wise, and such I held thee, but this question asked puts me in doubt. Lives there who loves his pain? Who would not, finding way, break loose from hell, though thither doomed? Thou wouldst thyself, no doubt, and boldly venture to whatever place farthest from pain, where thou mightst hope to change torment with ease, and soonest recompense dole with delight, which in this place I sought. Let him surer bar his iron gates, if he intends our stay in that dark durance. Not that I less endure or shrink from pain, insulting angel. Well thou knowst, I stood thy fiercest, when in battle to thy aid the blasting volleyed thunder made all speed, and seconded thy else not dreaded spear. But still thy words at random, as before, argue thy inexperience. What behoves from hard assays and ill successes past a faithful leader? Not to hazard all through ways of danger by himself untried. I therefore, I alone, first undertook to wing the desolate abyss, and spy this new created world, whereof in hell fame is not silent, here in hope to find better abode, and my afflicted powers to settle here on earth or in mid-air, though for possession put to try once more what thou and thy gay legions dare against, whose easier business were to serve their lord high up in heaven, with songs to hymn his throne, and practiced distances to cringe, not fight. Then when I am thy captive, talk of chains, proud limitary cherub. But ere then, far heavier load thyself expect to feel from my prevailing arm, though heaven's king ride on thy wings, and thou with thy compeers, used to the yoke, drawest his triumphant wheels in progress through the road of heaven star-paved.
He also gazed, and, "O fair plant," said he, "with fruits surcharged, deign'st none to ease thy load and taste thy sweet, nor God, nor man.
Is knowledge so despised? Or envy, or what reserve forbids to taste? Forbid who will, none shall from me withhold longer thy offered good. Why else set here?
sweet of thyself, but much more sweet thus cropped. Forbidden here,
it seems, as only fit for gods, yet able to make gods of men. And why not gods of men? Since good, the more communicated, more abundant grows. The author not impaired, but honored more. Here, happy creature, there, angelic Eve, partake thou also. Happy though thou art, happier thou mayst be, worthier canst not be. Taste this, and be henceforth among the gods, thyself a goddess, not to earth confined, but sometimes in the air as we, sometimes ascend to heaven by merit thine, and see what life the gods live there, and such live thou.
Sleep'st thou, companion dear? What sleep can close thy eyelids? And rememberest what decree of yesterday so late hath passed the lips of heaven's almighty? Thou to me thy thoughts wast wont, I mine to thee wast wont to impart. Both waking we were one. How then can now thy sleep dissent? New laws thou seest imposed, new laws from him who reigns, new minds may raise in us who serve, new counsels to debate what doubtful may ensue. More in this place to utter is not safe. Assemble thou, of all those myriads which we lead, the chief.
Thrones, dominations, princedoms, virtues, powers. If these magnific titles yet remain not merely titular, since by decree another now hath to himself engrossed all power, and us eclipsed under the name of King Anointed, for whom all this haste of midnight march and hurried meeting here. Will ye submit your necks and choose to bend the supple knee? Ye will not, if I trust to know ye right, or if ye know yourselves, natives and sons of heaven, possessed before by none, and if not equal all, yet free, equally free. For orders and degrees jar not with liberty, but well consist. Who can, in reason then, or right, assume monarchy over such as live by right his equals, if in power and splendor less, in freedom equal? Or can introduce law and edict on us, who without law err not, much less for this to be our lord, and look for adoration to the abuse of those imperial titles which assert our being ordained to govern, not to serve. Ill for thee, that in wished hour of my revenge first sought for, thou returnest from flight, seditious angel, to receive thy merited reward. And well thou comest before thy fellows, ambitious to win from me some plume, that thy success may show destruction to the rest. This pause between, unanswered, lest thou boast, to let thee know. At first, I thought that liberty and heaven to heavenly souls had been all one. But now I see that most through sloth had rather served. Ministering spirits trained up in feast and song. Such hast thou armed, the minstrelsy of heaven. Servility with freedom to contend, as both their deeds compared, this day shall prove. Nor think thou with wind of airy threats to all whom yet with deeds thou canst not. Hast thou turned the least of these to flight, or if to fall, but that they rise unvanquished, easier to transact with me than thou shouldst hope, imperious and with threats, to chase me hence? Err not that so shall end the strife which thou callest evil, but we style the strife of glory which we mean to win. Or turn this heaven itself into the hell thou fablest, here, however, to dwell free, if not to reign. Meanwhile, thy utmost force, and join him named Almighty to thy aid. I fly not, but have sought thee far and nigh. Oh, now in danger tried, now known in arms not to be overpowered,
companions dear, who have sustained one day in doubtful fight, and if one day, why not eternal days, what heaven's Lord had power fullest to send against us from about his throne, and judge sufficient to subdue us to his will, but proves not so. Then fallible it seems of future we may deem him, though till now omniscient thought. True is, less firmly armed, some disadvantage we endured and paid. The remedy? Perhaps more valid arms, weapons more violent, when next we meet, may serve to better us and worse our foes, or equal what between us may be odds. In nature, none. If other hidden cause left them superior, while we can preserve unhurt our minds and understanding sound, due search and consultation will disclose. Not uninvented. That which thou aright believe so main to our success, I bring. The earth shall yield us dark materials, shall yield us pregnant with infernal flame, which into hollow engines long and round, thick rammed, at the other bore, with touch of fire dilated and infuriate, shall send forth from far with thundering noise among our foes such implements of mischief as shall dash to pieces and o'erwhelm whatever stands adverse, that they shall fear we have disarmed the thunderer of his only dreaded bolt. Vanguard, to right and left the front unfold, that all may see who hate us how we seek peace and composure, and with open breast stand ready to receive them. O friends, why come not on these victors proud, ere while they fierce were coming? And when we do entertain them fair, with open front and breast, what could we more? Propounded terms of composition, straight they changed their minds, flew off, and into strange vagaries fell, as they would dance. Yet for a dance they seemed somewhat extravagant and wild. O earth, how like to heaven, if not preferred more justly, seat worthier of gods, as built with second thoughts, reforming what was old. With what delight could I have walked thee round, if I could joy in aught? Sweet interchange of hill and valley, rivers, woods, and plains, now land, now sea, and shores with forest crowned, rocks, dens, and caves. But I in none of these find place or refuge. And the more I see pleasures about me, so much more I feel torment within me, so much more I see of contraries. All good to me becomes bane, and in heaven much worse would be my state. But neither here seek I, no, nor in heaven to dwell, unless by mastering heaven supreme. Nor hope to be myself less miserable by what I seek, but others to make such as I, though thereby worse to me redound. For only in destroying I find ease to my relentless thoughts, and him destroyed, or one to what may work his utter loss, for whom all this was made, all this will soon follow, as to him linked in weal or woe. In woe then, that destruction wide may range, this creature man he made, and for him built magnificent this world and earth his seat, him Lord pronounced, and, oh, indignity, subjected to his service angel wings, and flaming ministers to watch and tend their earthy charge. Of these the vigilance I dread, and to elude, thus wrapped in mist of midnight vapor glide obscure, and pry in every bush and brake, where hap may find the serpent sleeping, in whose mazy folds to hide me and the dark intent I bring. O foul descent, that I, who erst contended with gods to sit the highest, am now constrained into a beast, and mixed with bestial slime, this essence to incarnate and imbrute, that to the height of deity aspired. But what will not ambition and revenge descend to? Who aspires must down as low as high he soared, obnoxious first or last to basest things. Revenge, at first, though sweet, bitter ere long, back on itself recoils. Let it. I reck not, so it light well aimed, since higher I fall short on him who next provokes my envy, this new favorite of heaven, this man of clay, son of despite, whom us the more to spite his maker raised from dust. Spite, then, with spite, is best repaid.
Thoughts, whither have ye led me? With what sweet compulsion thus transported to forget what hither brought us? Hate, not love, nor hope of paradise for hell. Hope here to taste of pleasure, but all pleasure to destroy. Save what is in destroying, other joy to me is lost. Then let me not let pass occasion which now smiles. Behold, alone, the woman, opportune to all attempts. Her husband, for I view far round, not nigh, whose higher intellectual more I shun, and strength, of courage haughty, and of limb heroic built. Though of terrestrial mould, foe not informidable, exempt from wound, I not, so much hath hell debased and pain enfeebled me to what I was in heaven. She fair, divinely fair, fit love for gods, not terrible, though terror be in love, and beauty not approached by stronger hate. Hate stronger under show of love well feigned, the way which to her ruin now I tend. Fairest resemblance of thy Maker fair, thee all things living gaze on, all things thine by gift, and thy celestial beauty adore, with ravishment beheld, there best beheld where universally admired. But here, in this enclosure wild, these beasts among, beholders rude and shallow to discern half what in thee is fair. One man except, who sees thee, and what is one? Who shouldst be seen a goddess among gods, adored and served by angels numberless, thy daily train. Empress of this fair world, resplendent Eve, I was at first as other beasts that graze the trodden herb, of abject thoughts and low, as was my food, nor aught but food discerned, or sex, and apprehended nothing high. Till, on a day roving the field, I chanced a goodly tree far distant to behold, loaden with fruit of fairest colours mixed, ruddy and gold. I nearer drew to gaze, when from the boughs a savoury odour blown, grateful to appetite, more pleased my sense than smell of sweetest fennel, or the teats of ewe or goat dropping with milk, and even unsucked of lamb or kid that tend their play. To satisfy the sharp desire I had of tasting those fair apples, I resolved not to defer. Hunger and thirst, at once powerful persuaders, quickened at the scent of that alluring fruit, urged me so keen. About the mossy trunk I wound me soon, for high from ground the branches would require thy utmost reach, or Adam's. Round the tree all other beasts that saw, with like desire longing and envying stood, but could not reach. Amid the tree now got, where plenty hung tempting so nigh, to pluck and eat my fill I spared not, for such pleasure till that hour at feed or fountain never had I found. Sated at length, ere long I might perceive strange alteration in me, to degree of reason in my inward powers, and speech wanted not long, though to this shape retained. Thenceforth to speculations, high or deep, I turned my thoughts, and with capacious mind considered all things visible in heaven, or earth, or middle, all things fair and good. But all that fair and good in thy divine semblance, and in thy beauty's heavenly ray, united I behold. No fair to thine equivalent or second, which compelled me thus, though importune perhaps, to come and gaze and worship thee, of right declared, sovereign of creatures, universal Dame.
For many are the trees of God that grow in paradise.
Oh, Empress, the way is ready, and not long. Beyond a row of myrtles, on a flat, fast by a fountain, one small thicket past of blowing myrrh and balm. If thou accept my conduct, I can bring thee thither, soon.
Our reason is our law.
Indeed. Hath God then said that of the fruit of all these garden trees ye shall not eat, yet lords declared of all in earth or air?
O sacred, wise, and wisdom-giving plant, mother of science, now I feel thy power within me clear, not only to discern things in their causes, but to trace the ways of highest agents, deemed however wise. Queen of this universe, do not believe those rigid threats of death. Ye shall not die. How should ye? By the fruit. It gives you life to knowledge. By the threatener? Look on me who have touched and tasted, yet both live, and life more perfect have attained than fate meant me, by venturing higher than my lot. Shall that be shut to man, which to the beast is open? Or will God incense his ire for such a petty trespass, and not praise rather your dauntless virtue, whom the pain of death denounced? Whatever thing death be, deterred not from achieving what might lead to happier life, knowledge of good and evil. Of good, how just? Of evil, if what is evil be real, why not known, since easier shunned? God, therefore, cannot hurt ye and be just. Not just, not God, not feared then, nor obeyed. Your fear itself of death removes the fear. Why then was this forbid? Why but to awe? Why but to keep ye low and ignorant his worshippers? He knows that in the day ye eat thereof, your eyes that seem so clear, yet are but dim, shall perfectly be then opened and cleared, and ye shall be as gods, knowing both good and evil as they know. That ye should be as gods, since I as man, eternal man, is but proportion meet. I of brute human, ye of human gods. So ye shall die perhaps by putting off human to put on gods, death to be wished, though threatened, which no worse than this can bring. And what are gods, that man may not become as they, participating god-like food? The gods are first, and that advantage use on our belief that all from them proceeds. I question it. For this fair earth I see, warmed by the sun, producing every kind, them nothing. If they all things, who enclosed knowledge of good and evil in this tree, that whoso eats thereof forthwith attains wisdom without their leave? And wherein lies the offense that man should thus attain to know? What can your knowledge hurt him, or this tree impart against his will, if all be his? Or is it envy? And can envy dwell in heavenly breasts? These and many more causes import your need of this fair fruit. Goddess humane, reach then, and freely taste. Fair daughter, and thou son, and grandchild both, high proof ye now have given to be the race of Satan. For I glory in the name, antagonist of heaven's almighty King, amply have merited of me, of all the infernal empire, that so near heaven's door triumphal with triumphal act have met. Mine with this glorious work, and made one realm, hell and this world, one realm, one continent of easy thoroughfare. Therefore, while I descend through darkness on your road with ease to my associate powers, them to acquaint with these successes, and with them rejoice, you too this way, among these numerous orbs, all yours, right down to paradise descend. There dwell and reign in bliss.
Thence on the earth dominion exercise, and in the air chiefly on man, so Lord of all declared. Him first make sure your thrall, and lastly kill. My substitutes I send ye, and create plenipotent on earth, of matchless might issuing from me. On your joint vigor now my hold of this new kingdom all depends. If your joint power prevail, the affairs of hell no detriment need fear. Go and be strong. Thrones, dominations, princedoms, virtues, powers, for in possession such, not only of right, I call ye and declare ye now, return successful beyond hope, to lead ye forth triumphant out of this infernal pit, abominable, accursed, the house of woe and dungeon of our tyrant. Now possess, as lords, a spacious world, to our native heaven little inferior, by my adventure hard, with peril great achieved. Long were to tell what I have done, what suffered, with what pain voyaged the unreal, vast, unbounded deep of horrible confusion. But I found the new created world, which fame in heaven long had foretold, a fabric wonderful, of absolute perfection. Therein man, placed in a paradise, by our exile made happy. Him by fraud I have seduced from his creator, and the more to increase your wonder, with an apple. He, thereat offended, worth your laughter, hath given up both his beloved man and all his world, to sin and death a prey, and so to use, without our hazard, labor, or alarm, to range in and to dwell, and over man to rule, as over all he should have ruled. True is, me also he hath judged, or rather, me not, but the brute serpent, in whose shape man I deceived. That which to me belongs is enmity, which he will put between me and mankind. I am to bruise his heel. His seed, when is not set, shall bruise my head. A world who would not purchase with a bruise, or much more grievous pain. Ye have the account of my performance. What remains, ye gods, but up, and enter now into full bliss.